This happened back in 2019. I was 22 at the time, picking up extra shifts at a logistics warehouse just outside of Phoenix to help pay off my student loans. It wasn't a hard job, just incredibly boring. The warehouse was massive, about the size of 2 football fields, and at night, they ran a skeleton crew. It was usually just me and a forklift driver named Gary, but Gary spent 90% of his shift sleeping in the break room. It was around 2:30 in the morning. I was near Bay Door 4, scanning inventory tags on a stack of pallets. It was dead silent, aside from the hum of the ventilation fans. I had one earbud in, listening to a podcast to stay awake, and I was holding a scanner in my right hand. The bay door was rolled up about 3 feet to let in some fresh air, because the AC in the building was broken. It felt like any other Tuesday, just quiet and repetitive work. I didn't feel uneasy, I was just tired and ready to go home. I finished scanning a row and turned toward the open bay door to stretch my back. That's when I saw him. There was a guy standing in the parking lot, maybe 10 feet away from the opening. He wasn't wearing a safety vest or a uniform. He was wearing a dark hoodie and jeans that looked like they hadn't been washed in weeks. He wasn't doing anything aggressive. He was just standing there, facing the desert with his back to me. I froze for a second. We sometimes had truck drivers show up early, but they usually banged on the office door or yelled out. This guy was statue still. I assumed he was just a driver taking a leak, or maybe a lost delivery guy. I walked over to the gap in the door. "Hey man," I said. "Deliveries are around the front." The guy didn't turn around. He didn't even flinch. He tilted his head back and let out this dry, low laugh. It was awkward. I figured he was drunk or high, so I decided not to engage. I just hit the button on the wall to roll the door down. The metal door rattled down and locked into the concrete floor. I stood there for a second, listening, but I couldn't hear anything over the hum of the motor. I decided to head back to the main office, which was in the center of the warehouse. It's a glass-walled box, raised up so you can see the whole floor. I wanted to tell Gary that there was some weirdo in the lot, just in case. As I walked away from the bay, I took my earbud out. That's when I heard it. It came from the roof. I stopped. The warehouse had a corrugated metal roof. If a bird lands on it, you hear a ping. This was a heavy, dull thud, like a pair of work boots landing. I told myself it was just the ventilation unit kicking on. I kept walking a little faster now. My grip tightened on the scanner. I got to the office stairs. I looked back at the bay door I had just closed. There's a small rectangular window in the metal slats, about head height. A face was pressed against it. He wasn't laughing anymore. He was staring right at me. And then, he pointed a finger at the side door, the emergency exit located 30 feet to my left. I heard the distinct metallic click of the exterior handle being depressed. I had forgotten to lock the side door. My stomach dropped. I didn't wait to see the door open. I sprinted up the metal stairs to the office and slammed the door shut behind me. I turned the deadbolt. I crouched down behind the main desk, reaching for the landline to call 911. My fingers were slipping off the buttons. From down on the warehouse floor, I heard the side door slam open. Heavy footsteps echoed on the concrete. They weren't rushing. They were slow, deliberate. They stopped right at the bottom of the metal stairs leading to the office. I held my breath. My chest felt like it was going to explode. Then, the metal stairs started to vibrate. He was coming up. He reached the landing. I could see his shadow stretch across the floor through the glass panels of the office. He stopped in front of the door. He didn't knock. He didn't yell. He just laid his weight against the door. The wood frame groaned. Then, a smell hit me. It drifted under the door gap. It smelled like gasoline and rotting garbage. It was so strong I had to cover my nose to keep from gagging. He started turning the doorknob. Then he stopped. For 10 seconds, there was total silence. Then, a massive crack shook the room. He had kicked the door right near the lock. The wood splintered. He kicked it again. The frame buckled. I didn't wait for the third kick. I crawled to the other side of the office, opened the window that looked out over the back alley, and squeezed through. It was a 10-foot drop. I landed hard on the asphalt, rolling onto my shoulder. I ignored the pain and ran to my car parked around the side. I locked the doors and drove to the gas station down the street before calling the cops. When the police arrived at the warehouse, the guy was gone. But they found Gary. He was unconscious in the break room. The guy had hit him over the head with a fire extinguisher. Gary survived, but he needed 12 stitches. They never caught the guy. The security footage just showed a blurry figure in a hoodie. I quit that job the next day. I don't work in warehouses anymore, and I definitely don't work night shifts. But the main thing that changed? I never wear headphones when I'm alone anymore. I need to hear what's happening around me.